Hi, everyone. We'll see who pops online. Only one. We're just waiting to see how many people are coming on to join us right now. Give it a little bit. We'll give it one little bit, guys, and then I'll get started here. Waiting for people to trickle on. And then we'll definitely get right to the point. But thank you for joining us this evening. Second broadcast of the day. So I guess maybe we'll kind of get started here. We'll talk about what's occurring in the PSW field currently. And as I'm talking, hopefully more people join us. That's why we did 2 of them today, so that more PSWs would have the opportunity to come on and ask questions and engage with me. So I'm Miranda Ferrier. I'm the president of the Ontario Personal Support Workers Association, for those of you who do not know me. I am also a personal support worker graduate from Mohawk College, and yay, wonderful, Rochelle. Anyways, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Like I said, we are your Ontario Personal Support Workers Association. We are the professional association for personal support workers in the province of Ontario. We currently represent just over 31,000 PSWs in Ontario. We are your voice with the local government, the national government, and of course media across our nation. So it's our association's pretty wonderful, I like to think. And like I said, I'm a personal support worker myself, having worked in long-term care, home care, and hospital settings. Everyone here at the association is a personal support worker, whoever's in a director or president role. So we believe that it's PSWs for PSWs. Hello to Ottawa. Welcome. Anyway, so I'm going to get going here. So a little bit about the association real quick for those of you who don't know much about us. We were formed in 2010 by personal support workers. I am a founder. April Hill, our Director of Community Development, is actually our co-founder of the association. We are both personal support workers. At the association, we have a code of ethics, we have standards of practice, scope of practice, and we are the only entity anywhere in Canada that actually verifies you as a PSW. All of our personal support workers, we work with a company called BackCheck or Sterling Talent Solutions. And what it winds up happening is we do thorough background checks on all of our PSWs. We ensure that you are who you say you are, that you are a PSW. You get a great ID badge, which lots of our PSWs like to share here on Facebook. And also, as well as every membership comes with a $1 million professional liability, guys, and this is to protect you, the PSW. Now, I'm going to get into some things that are happening in the PSW world, as I'm sure that everyone's kind of curious as to what is going on. Now, the Ontario PSW Association has been very involved with the government in lobbying the government to become your self-regulating body. Now, what that means is that you would be regulated in essence, but more so governed. So basically, the Ontario PSW Association would become your self-regulating body. So it would be PSWs for PSWs. This would offer you guys protection, wage increases, a standard of practice, scope of practice. Our title would be protected, which is really huge for us because right now, as I'm sure you guys know, that the PSW is not a protected title. So I'm not sure if you guys know that. But anywho, so that's what we're gearing to do. Now, back in 2012, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the past PSW registry. Now, the past PSW registry was shut down in January of 2016. That past registry was actually shut down by us. We didn't like it. It didn't do credential checks. It didn't recognize personal support workers, and it was a huge safety concern for the public. So we were quite thrilled when that PASS registry got shut down, because we believe that in order to speak for a profession, you need to be of that profession. And nobody understands PSWs better than PSWs. So that's what we believe here at the association. Back in October of 2017, the government announced the reinstatement of the PSW registry. Now, this was a big blow because they didn't talk to us. They did not talk to any other stakeholders. They didn't talk to anybody. No PSWs were even consulted in whether or not we wanted a registry. And I don't know about you guys as fellow PSWs, but we're getting sick and tired of the government making decisions about our profession without talking to us about our profession. It's kind of a sad state of affairs when the government won't even talk to us. I mean, truly, we are the front line of healthcare. And without PSWs, the system would topple. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this today, is because we have a campaign called PSW Strong. And PSW Strong is about uniting personal support workers across Ontario, whether you are a member of the association or not. This is about bringing our voices together and bringing it straight to government to show them that we mean business. No, we are not a union. We are an association. So we play on a completely different level than unions do. So I guess I should get right to it then. This new PSW registry that is launching as of tomorrow is run by the Michener Institute. Now, I'm sure you guys all know who the Michener Institute is. The Michener Institute is one of Ontario's oldest colleges. It falls underneath the University Health Network and is funded by the Ontario government. They specialize in nuclear medicine and genetics. So obviously, they know everything about personal support workers. Where the association is coming from is we, off our own sweat, blood, and tears, developed this association ourselves, our own money. We have never received any funding from the government for anything that we've ever done. And yet we have strived forward and become the largest group of personal support workers in Canada. And we deserve to be self-regulated, and we deserve to be recognized as such. So this new PSW registry plays into something else that is going to affect all personal support workers in the province of Ontario. Yes, first it's going to affect home care personal support workers. I hate sharing this news, I'm just being honest. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but back in November, the Ontario government announced a personal support service agency for home care. This agency is stemming around the new direct care model that Patients First wanted to put forward from the Ontario government. Now, as we all know, currently we have the LHINs, put my hand in there, and we have the home care agencies. The LHINs give the money and the publicly funded hours to the home care agencies where personal support workers work. The government's idea is to put forward this new personal support service, I'm just going to call it PSS agency, where they're going to hire PSWs directly into this agency. And then clients are going to be able to hire PSWs directly from that agency. Any client in the province of Ontario that receives 14 hours or more is going to be moved to this new PSS agency. PSWs will go and work directly with the client. Now, as an association, we are not against direct care. Clients deserve to have a say in what happens in their care, but PSWs also deserve to be protected. Now, I'm sharing information with you that I received by having a conversation with a director from the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care when they contacted me wanting me to support this new agency, or OPSWA, shall I say. And when they informed me about this, I asked them, so the PSW gets hired directly by the client. Now, we all know that 14 hours or more, if you're receiving 14 hours or more as a client in home care in Ontario, you are either chronic or acute care or palliative. So what does that mean? Proper delegation, perhaps? OTPT? Some registered staff? No. That means that you're being hired directly by the client. So I said, who's going to support the personal support worker? Who's going to make sure that the PSW is properly supported? They turned around and said, well, the PSWs can access registered staff or OTPTs from the local LINs. I don't know about you guys, but when we make phone calls to local LINs, or our members have made phone calls to local LINs for a registered staff member or OTPT, doesn't really turn out very well, and half the time you're waiting weeks on end for someone to come in because they're strapped as well for time. So then I asked the question, who's going to be delegating tasks to the personal support worker? Like I said, acute, chronic, palliative. So what are we dealing with? We're dealing with catheterizations, feeding tubes, wound care, drug administration, the list goes on. They informed me that the clients will be delegating to the personal support workers. So I said, pardon me, number one. And I said, number two, what if the client can't delegate? Because we're also looking at dementias and comatose patients. They said the family then can delegate to the personal support worker. I said, so how does this ensure that the PSW is safe? What about liability? Are you going to be providing them with liability insurance? Are you going to be providing them with some way to protect the PSW? And their answer was no. It will be left up to the PSW. Now, the reason why this PSW registry is being launched as it is because in order to work for this agency, you need to be a member of the PSW registry. This PSW registry does not give you liability insurance. Frankly, I can't even answer you as to what it's truly going to do other than allow you to work for this PSS agency. So then I begged to ask them, and I said, so what about wages? Are PSWs going to be making more? The answer was no. They're going to be starting you guys off at the PSW minimum wage, which I believe is about $16.50. Really sad. I thought, and very dangerous for personal support workers. Yet again, the government is making decisions about our profession without even consulting us. That makes me angry, and as fellow personal support workers, I would hope that that would make you angry. Will the registry be for The registry eventually will be for PSWs everywhere. They're looking at making this mandatory in 2.5 to 3 years. Now, we all know about all the terrible stories that are in the news about PSWs abusing. I hate it. You hate it. We all hate it. But unfortunately, that is our reality. So if we're going to have a PSW registry that is apparently going to protect the public and bring recognition to us, the good personal support workers, then shouldn't we have something in place a lot sooner than 2.5 or 3 years away? What about, I don't know, tomorrow? And that's something we could do. That's something the association can achieve. And we have it on paper. So unfortunately, another bit of information is we did some digging about this PSS agency. Because when I was having a conversation with the director from the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, I asked, so if this PSS agency is just hiring the PSWs to work directly for the clients, really, what is their role? And someone slipped up and said, well, bargaining. Bargaining. What does that tell you? Unionization, PSWs. We believe, due to a model that we found in the United States, in Washington State and Michigan, unionization looks like it's actually going to be forced upon the personal support workers in the home care sector. Now, this is something you can also find in the Ministry of Labor's, I forget the name of the paper, but it came out in June of last year, where they thought that unionization of home care would be a good thing. This means that you do not choose your union. This means you do not choose whether or not you want to be unionized. As an Ontarian, you have the right to choose whether or not you want to be unionized and whether or not and what union you want to be a part of. So to us, this is them, again, making decisions about our profession without even talking to us about it, without even engaging with PSWs. And the sad part is, they're not even putting it out there. We're finding out this information because we ask questions, because we care, because we have 31,000 members that rely upon us here at head office to ensure that we know everything that's going on. We put our thumb on the heartbeat for PSWs. So there's that one there. We also launched a campaign today. Like I said, we have our PSW Strong campaign that talks about bringing voices for personal support workers together across the province of Ontario. This is about you, the personal support worker. This is not about OPSWA. This is not about me. This is about the personal support workers in the province of Ontario. So one of the things that we're doing is we have launched a campaign called I Have the Right to Choose, and I Choose OPSWA. Now, that doesn't mean you need to become a member. It just means that you choose to have a voice that represents you, that knows what you go through every day. When I worked in long-term care, and I did for a number of years, I never worked a fully staffed shift. Not one. Not one. So I understand. I get it. I worked in home care. I had plates thrown at my head. I understand that we don't know what we're walking into when you walk in that door. At OPSWA, we get it, but we're also your peers. So we're asking you to join us in our hashtag #IChooseOPSWA. Let's show the government that PSWs are not dumb and that we do have a right to have a say about what's happening in our profession. This does involve each and every one of you, regardless if it's long-term care, home care, hospital, private care. This affects you. We have been silenced for far too long, guys. PSWs deserve to be recognized for the hard job that you guys do every single day. And no one recognizes it better than your professional association. We get it. We fight like you wouldn't believe every day for you guys. And we fight right alongside you. So we wanted to talk about knowing your rights. But I also have some questions that people had asked me that I need to address at this point. So the question that was asked of me, that no raises for PSWs means that PSWs will be leaving the field. That's where we come to the point of self-regulation. Self-regulation means better wages and more set wages for personal support workers. This PSW registry will not do that for you. Self-regulation will. The issue of wages has been something that we've received so many emails about, especially in relation to the wage enhancement. And unfortunately, guys, even though we've tried so hard to get answers about this wage enhancement, no one's giving us an answer. No one can find the answers, to be honest. It's not that they're not looking, they just can't find them. But if you want to be able to have a more stable career, then we need self-regulation. Because then we have a set voice, and the government has no choice but to listen to us. Also, as well as, think about this. PSWs in Ontario, if we were to all come together, there are over 35,000 PSWs in the province of Ontario. We would be the largest group of frontline healthcare. Imagine how big that voice would be. I think that's pretty awesome. So now I'm going to share some good news with you guys. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Elizabeth Whitlofer and what happened there, which is really unfortunate, but how the government launched a long-term care public inquiry and how organizations and the public could put forward a bid to participate in this long-term care public inquiry. Well, I am very happy to inform you all that the Ontario Personal Support Workers Association was granted participation rights in this public inquiry. This is the first time in history that personal support workers will have a say about what happens in long-term care and why it happens. So you know what? Take a bow, PSWs, because we finally have a seat at the table with the nursing associations. This is a very big deal. It was an emotional day for us here at OPSWA. But I'm proud to tell you that. If you want to get involved, you do have to be a member, but we are launching a committee very soon. And if you'd like to be involved, we'd love to have you. We are looking for all different sorts of voices from long-term care that can bring as much to the table as possible in relation to this public inquiry. So we invite you. Also, too, wanted to share with you guys, next Saturday at 7 p.m. on CTVW5, they're going to be talking about the truth behind the scenes in home care for PSWs. Some OPSWA personal support workers and reps were actually involved in this town hall meeting, and I applaud them as they talk about abuse in home care on PSWs. So make sure to stay tuned next Saturday at 7 p.m. on CTVW5. I'm not on it, but OPSWA PSWs are. So make sure to tune in. One last thing before I let you guys go. PSWs are literally the heartbeat of healthcare in Ontario. We are losing personal support workers from the field at a rapid rate. We need to keep PSWs. But I want you to know that when you feel alone and when you feel no one's listening to you, and when you feel like you could just pull your hair out or you're overtired or you're stressed and you don't know what to do, just know that at OPSWA, we truly fight for you. And if you need someone to talk to, you are more than welcome to pick up the phone and call us, member or not. That's what we're here for. PSWs for PSWs. Check us out, www.opswa.ca. Remember, you get a host of things with membership. You get continuing education as well. You get great opportunities. So I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Is there any other questions before I go? Any other questions, Lynn? The girls are still in the office with me. Am I still live? Is it still going? Anything else, guys? I want to thank you guys all for joining us. I know it's 6 o'clock on an evening, but we wanted to make sure that everyone had an opportunity to join us. Remember, you can always reach out to the association, www.opswa.ca. You have questions, concerns, and remember, if the government changes in the next election, OPSWA could very well be your self-regulated body. And we're very excited for that opportunity. Anything? No? All right.
Just going to say that. The office phone number for anybody?
Office phone number, 1-866-723-9082. And you can even try me yourself. What's that? And remember, we also have something that goes on our profile pictures, hashtag I choose OPSWA. Please join our movement. If you want to get more involved, you can reach out to us at info@opswa.com. We look forward to hearing from you guys. Remember, we are still going to be hitting the road. We're going to be out there doing our coffee talks. If you want to see OPSWA, make sure to stay tuned. Thank you very much again for everything you guys do. PSWs honestly make healthcare go around. You guys are awesome. Have a great evening, and thank you so much for coming out. OPSWA out.